A road trip. As the sun painted streaks of orange and pink across the morning sky, Ella and Sam loaded their old station wagon, excited about the adventure that awaited them. Both had recently graduated, deciding to embark on a cross-country road trip before settling into their chosen careers. The first stop was the picturesque town of Willow Creek, nestled at the base of the Blue Mountains. Ella had read about its charm in a magazine: cobblestone streets, houses with flower-filled balconies, and a quaint little bakery renowned for its almond croissants. Sam, ever the explorer, was looking forward to hiking up to Crystal Lake. Legends claimed it had clear blue waters in which, on a full moon night, one could see glimpses of a submerged ancient city. Sam, a history major, was eager to decipher the truth behind these tales. As they drove, they shared stories, sang along to their favorite tunes, and marveled at the changing landscapes, from dense forests to vast open fields. However, the journey wasn't devoid of challenges. At one point, they got caught in a torrential downpour, forcing them to seek refuge in a dilapidated motel. There, they met Rosie, an elderly woman with myriad stories about the golden age of Hollywood. By the time they reached Willow Creek, they were a day behind schedule. However, the beauty of the town made it worth the delay. Ella savored the most delicious croissants she had ever tasted, while Sam made friends with local historians and gathered more legends about the mysterious Crystal Lake. The hike to the lake was more demanding than they had anticipated. Rocky paths, steep inclines, and sudden rain showers tested their endurance. But when they finally reached the summit, the panoramic view of Crystal Lake, shimmering under the setting sun, took their breath away. They set up camp by the lake's edge, listening to the gentle lapping of the water and gazing at the starry night. While they didn't see any submerged city, the tranquility of the place was a reward in itself. The journey resumed, with stops at bustling cities, serene beaches, and majestic mountains. They met artists, chefs, craftsmen, and even a retired astronaut in a desert town who shared tales of space travel. However, it wasn't just the destinations that enriched them, but the journey itself. The car breakdowns, missed turns, impromptu detours, and the nights spent under a canopy of stars, all became cherished memories. When they finally returned home, they were not the same people who had left. The road had taught them resilience, adaptability, and the value of living in the moment. They had collected not just photographs but stories, experiences, and a deeper appreciation for the vast tapestry of life. Ella and Sam didn't just take a road trip, they embarked on a transformative journey, realizing that sometimes the road less traveled holds the most profound lessons. First lesson. Jonathan Tremblay was not a typical piano teacher. In his mid-50s, with a salt and pepper beard and spectacles resting on the bridge of his nose, he resembled a scholar rather than a musician. Residing in a small village on the outskirts of Paris, Tremblay was renowned not only for his virtuosity but also for his unconventional teaching methods. When Clara, an eager young woman with dreams of becoming a concert pianist, heard about Tremblay, she knew she had to be his pupil. She had excelled under various tutors, but felt something was missing in her music. Despite her dexterity and precision, her performances lacked emotion. On a crisp autumn morning, Clara arrived at Trembley's antique field studio, where the golden light streamed through tall windows, illuminating a grand Steinway piano. To her surprise, instead of starting with scales or a piece of music, Tremblay handed her a blank diary. For the first month, he began in a deep, resonant voice, "You won't touch the piano. Instead, every day, you'll write in this diary. Write about anything, your dreams, fears, memories, or the world around you." Clara was perplexed. "But Maestro Tremblay, I came here to learn piano, not to write." He smiled. "Music, my dear, is not just about pressing keys. It's about expressing feelings, conveying stories, and connecting with your audience. Before you can pour emotion into your music, you must first connect with your own." Reluctantly, Clara began her writing journey. The first entries were mundane, but as days turned into weeks, she delved deeper into her thoughts and emotions. She wrote about her childhood memories of dancing in the rain, the heartbreak of her first love, the melancholy of a fading sunset, and the joy of an unexpected reunion with an old friend. One day, Tremblay asked her to read an entry aloud. As Clara read, her voice quivered with emotion. Once she finished, without a word, Tremblay gestured towards the piano. As Clara played, she felt a transformation. The keys no longer felt like mere tools, but extensions of her own feelings. The notes resonated with the echoes of her memories, dreams, and emotions. The music flowed, rich with passion and sincerity, filling the room. When she finished, Tremblay nodded in approval. "Now you're not just playing the notes, you're living them." Clara's time with Tremblay wasn't long, but the lessons she learned went beyond just the piano. She realized that to truly excel in any art form, one must first delve deep within oneself, embracing every emotion, every experience. The world came to recognize Clara not just for her flawless technique but for the soul she infused into her music. And behind her success was her first lesson, a blank diary and the wisdom of a maestro who understood the true essence of music. Top of the mountain. Amelia had always been a city girl. The cacophony of cars, the glow of neon lights, and the rush of daily life were what she knew best. But there was something else she yearned for, a calling that beckoned from the distant peaks of the Himalayas. A documentary on mountain climbers had ignited this newfound passion. The idea of standing on the top of the world, where the air was thin and the sky seemed within arm's reach, was tantalizing. Against the advice of many, Amelia decided to train for a Himalayan expedition. She joined a local mountaineering club and began her rigorous training. The artificial climbing walls in the city became her playground. She spent weekends hiking in nearby hills, gradually increasing the altitude and intensity of her treks. She pored over books, learned about altitude sickness, and practiced setting up tents in her backyard. Months turned into a year, and Amelia felt ready. She joined a group planning to ascend one of the lesser-known peaks of the Himalayas, not Everest but challenging nonetheless. The journey began from a quaint village, a stark contrast to the urban jungle Amelia was accustomed to. The path was lined with dense forests, singing brooks, and gradually, snow-capped mountains. With every step, the air grew colder and thinner. Amelia faced many challenges. She struggled with bouts of dizziness, the weight of her backpack seemed to double with every step, and there were moments of sheer exhaustion. But with each hurdle, her determination grew stronger. One evening, as the team set up camp, a massive snowstorm hit. The winds howled, and the visibility dropped to nearly zero. The group had to huddle together in a tent, rationing their food and keeping each other's spirits up with stories and songs. The storm lasted 2 days. When it finally cleared, the path they had been following was buried under a thick blanket of snow. But the sight that met Amelia's eyes was breathtaking. The world around her sparkled in pristine white, with the sun casting a golden hue on the peaks. The beauty was overwhelming, and Amelia felt an emotion she had never felt before, a profound connection to nature. The team decided to make the final push for the summit. The climb was treacherous, with slippery paths and deep crevices hidden under the snow. But after what felt like an eternity, Amelia finally set foot on the top of the mountain. The view from the top was surreal. Endless ranges of mountains stretched in all directions, with clouds floating beneath her. She realized then that this journey was never just about reaching the summit. It was about breaking out of her comfort zone, about understanding nature's raw power and beauty, and most importantly, about discovering her inner strength. Amelia returned to the city a changed person. The skyscrapers no longer seemed daunting, and the noise of the city was no match for the silence she had experienced atop the mountain. She had conquered not just a peak, but also her own fears and doubts, and that made all the difference.